Well, welcome to the Credit Restoration Depot. Welcome this evening to our presentation, our credit education and restoration seminar. So, I'm so excited what 2012 is going to bring for our industry and our company and for what we're doing. And so we are really excited for those of you that are on our live stream tonight and those of you that are calling in to our national conference call. So let's just go over what we're going to be discussing tonight. We're going to discuss, who we are, what the Credit Restoration Depot, or MyCRD for short, is determined to do. We're going to discuss the Fair Credit Reporting Act and the function of the credit reporting agencies, credit report accuracy and the length of time that things could stay on your credit report, some more credit facts, budgeting, our philosophy, what we do and what we believe in, and the proof of our success. And then if there's any time afterwards, some questions and answers. So let's dive right in. The Credit Restoration Depot, we are determined to educate America on the rules and ploys of this game called credit. We are determined to teach America how to leverage your credit to build assets and not liabilities. We are determined to prepare and encourage people to steer their finances with confidence, and we are determined to restore America one person at a time. Now, let's just talk about the first law that was put in place in 1971. It's called the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Congress passed the Fair Credit Reporting Act with the intention to regulate the credit reporting agencies. This act spells out all the rules and regulations that the credit reporting agencies have to follow before they put anything on someone's credit report. And for the past 3 decades and more, actually, those agencies have ignored most of the law. And so, because the information about you has to be accurate and verified before it's entered on your credit report. And if the reasonable procedures have not been correctly followed, then any verified inaccuracies must be removed from your credit report. Or, most importantly, not only removed, but or they may be reversed. Okay? And then here's another part of the law that most people don't even talk about. If you go further down into the Fair Credit Reporting Act, they also must prove that they actually have a right to report this information about you. And by doing so, they must have in their possession proof, meaning all the documentation that pertains to each account. Now listen, folks, with over 300 million people in this country, we know that the agencies cannot store all that information. Okay, so one, they must prove that they properly verified all the information that's being reported about you before they put it on your credit report. Secondly, they must also prove that they have the right to report this information. And so the best way to understand this law is, let's pretend that I'm a state trooper and you come flying past me. Well, I, of course, put on my lights, right? I pull you over, I get your documentation, I give you your ticket. Well, but then I tell you, ma'am, sir, due to the severity of your speed, please come to court this Friday at 10 a.m. Okay? And so you come to court this Friday at 10 a.m. with ticket in hand. But I forget, and I took a 3-day weekend. Well, it was true that you were speeding, right? And it was true that I gave you the ticket. But I wasn't there to verify it. So what will the judge have to do? Toss it. Well, that's the same rings true with your credit report. If they didn't properly verify it before putting it on there, or if they cannot prove that they even have a right to report it, it has to be deleted or reversed. So now let's talk about the infamous credit reporting agencies. As you see, we don't call them credit bureaus, because a bureau would indicate some sort of legal or governmental authority. But they are privately owned companies. They are in business to make money. Their sole function is to collect and sell credit information. Okay, so TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian are not part of the government. So from today forward, I want you to feel comfortable just calling them a credit reporting agency. And in fact, we're being very nice by calling them agencies, because there are some agencies that are part of the government. You know what? We should just call them or credit reporting companies. And there's a fourth one out there called Dun & Bradstreet, but they specialize in business credit information exclusively. Now, there's some facts about credit report accuracy. There was a private study done, and they studied 200 people, and it discovered that about 80% of all the credit reports contained some type of error, some sort of inaccuracy, obsolete information, and 25% contained such serious errors that these individuals could be denied credit. But here are some other very significant findings in this study. 54% contained inaccurate personal information, such as misspelled names, wrong social security numbers, inaccurate birth dates, inaccurate information about a spouse, or an out-of-date address. And for example, one credit report listed a man's business partner as his spouse, okay, which was an error. 30% listed closed accounts as open, for example, listing a student loan that was paid off years ago as still outstanding. Another report listed several credit cards, a mortgage, and an auto loan all as open, although they were closed. 22% of the reports had the same mortgage or loan listed twice, and this mistake often occurs when loans are serviced or sold. 8% of the reports simply didn't list major credit, loan, mortgage, or other accounts that could be used to demonstrate the creditworthiness of that consumer. Okay, these errors can create the appearance of a consumer having too much credit available, being overextended, or not having been a responsible payer of his or her obligations. And the three credit reporting agencies have been in business for years, so how could they possibly be making all of these mistakes? Well, most mistakes can be pinned to your creditors and others providing the information to the credit agencies. As mentioned above, some mistakes happen when credit accounts change hands, when they're sold, and some errors are intentional. The report found that some banks admit to not even furnishing the credit reporting agencies with complete information on customers. And other mistakes are simply human error. You know, according to one of the credit reporting agencies' industry spokespersons, some 30,000 data processors file 4.5 billion updates to credit reports each month. That leaves room for considerable error. And this happens every day to people all across the country. Well, let's just look at the definition of inaccurate, erroneous, or obsolete information. Inaccurate information is any information that cannot be verified by the three credit reporting agencies or any other creditor. Erroneous information is any information that has been entered onto a consumer's credit report due to human error, like a social security mismatch or mixed file error. And obsolete information is any information that is beyond the industry standard of 7 or 10 years as it pertains to a bankruptcy. But now let me tell you something here. Especially this last one, most people think that things have to stay there for 7 years or 10 years as it pertains to a bankruptcy. However, there's no law that says that credit even has to be reported. It's a voluntary act. So if there's no law that says that it has to be there, then it certainly doesn't have to stay there, right? Now here are the guidelines of the length of time that the following items could stay. They don't have to stay, but they could stay on your credit report. So bankruptcies, whether it's a Chapter 7, 11, or 13, it could stay up to 10 years. Collections, up to 7 years. Public records, up to 10 years. Credit inquiries, up to 2 years. And things like check systems, telecheck, or scan, 5 years. And all of this is regulated by the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, and this is the only governmental entity that's involved here. Okay, and they regulate this through the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Now, they're not standing outside the agency's doors with a clock or, a calendar, so that's why, the service that we provide is so needed. Now, here's some really heavy credit facts. Credit cards or credit card debt is a $2 trillion industry. We as Americans are the biggest spenders, and approximately 83% of all divorces are due to some sort of financial problem. Bankruptcy relief is now more difficult to file due to the new means test as of October 2005. Okay, so it's not as easy to file anymore, so you have to qualify for it. Okay, in January 2006, the minimum monthly payments for credit cards increased from 2% to 4%, causing already strapped consumers more